Part 61. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yet. Chapter 601. Sato, Foreign Aid. Sato, got it, at Oreki Houtarou. Hospi, I always feel that Sato-san, you have been in a good mood these past 2 days. Did something happen? Sato, am I that obvious? Hospi, I observed carefully. Sato, hey, Hospi-san, are you usually this kind of person? It's so disgusting to observe other people. But I'm in a really good mood, so I forgive you. Hospi. Is it? But when you confessed your love to Oreki-san, Sato-kun, everyone was watching. And here is Oreki. He checked the chat history. By the way, why are you, Kushida-san, present in Oreki-san's small group? Originally, Oreki thought about forming a small mutual support group for students from other classes that he was concerned about. But now, the group member prompt is 7 people. So why is Horikita included? Oreki looked down upon the 100-point class evaluation score. But the students in Class D are very enthusiastic. Rather, they actually want to play. The overall hardware of students in Class D is not as good as other classes. But in this aspect, it does have an advantage. If you are aiming at a 100-point class evaluation score, then you can take advantage of your class. This is an advantage that no other class has. Oreki-san typed quickly. Horikita. Hospi, Horikita-san. Horikita. Kushida-san. Kushida-san, so, what are the advantages of our Class D? In the past, Gao Yuanji, who was very strong in academic and physical ability, has jumped to Class A. It's a sad story when it comes to this. Although Kojinji-san is unreliable at times, he is very strong in special exams and is excellent in all aspects. Apart from being narcissistic and arrogant, there aren't many other problems. Then a great guy came along. What was left of Class D? Is there any advantage? Oreki, there is a big difference between your class and other classes. I wonder if you have noticed it? Oreki, there are many good-looking girls in your class. Kushida, hey. Hospi, indeed, the girls in our class who can be named are all good-looking. I was somewhat confident, but in front of everyone, I suddenly felt that I had no advantage. Sakura, good looks, and so on. Hospi, Eri, I think you are very cute and beautiful. Sakura, hey. Kuruzawa, so, there are many cute girls in our class, so what should we do? Oreki, according to ordinary thinking. How about a maid cafe? Kushida-san, is it a maid cafe? Hospi, yes, when it comes to cultural festivals, this is indispensable. Kuruzawa, speaking of Oreki-san, your birthday is next month, right? Oreki, yes, that's right. What's wrong? Sato, hey. Why would Kei ask this? Because Oreki-san's birthday was already a shadow for Sato-san. Not only did he not give him a gift, but he also found out that he was being kept by a rich senior, and he felt that he couldn't afford it and left. Even though she said this, she had already remembered the day. And now, Hui actually takes the initiative to ask, so doesn't that mean? Will Oreki-san find out? Of course Oreki-san discovered it. In other words, I want to celebrate him. Oreki-san pretended not to notice. Chapter 284 is the dog repairing Jinsha? Although he is not interested in the program of his class's cultural festival, Oreki-san is still willing to spend some time to give ideas to people he knows. Certainly. This was what the girls asked him before he answered. If he doesn't take the initiative to consult, he will probably continue to save energy. Hospi, then it's decided that our class cultural festival project will be the maid cafe. Kuruzawa, then let only a few of us know about it first, and then you can find people you trust and bring them in together. Hospi, this is possible. Sakura, female, maid cafe. Hospi, yes, I really want to see Eri wearing a maid outfit. Sakura, hey, hey. Hospi, don't worry, I won't force you to participate. Participate voluntarily. Sakura, phew, that's really reassuring. Hospi, is it just that Eri really won't participate? If you show up in person, you will definitely be quite popular. Sakura, I don't deserve to be popular or anything, and I have to face other people. I feel so terrible. Oreki. Hospi, what's wrong, Oreki-san? Oreki-san. In fact, the Sakura-san he saw in his precognitive dream became a big star. And then have quite a lot of fans. There was even a concert. Even Kosake Inagi had to buy a ticket to go there. As a result, Sakura now dared not speak at all when facing strangers. In other words, there was an opportunity, and Sakura-san slowly overcame her introversion and developed towards becoming an idol. In this way, the project for the Cultural Festival of Class D has been decided, while Katsuragi-san is in charge of Class A. However, Yuzusaka Yanagi was still distracted from time to time. Oreki-san. It seems that we need to heal her body as soon as possible. Only. And thinking about it? Oreki-san sent a message to Kuruzawa. Has Chibashira-sensei in your class behaved unusually recently, by Oreki? His last mission has ended. And the next mission hasn't come yet. From the precognitive dream, it can be inferred that he seems to have traveled through time and space. And this ability to travel through time and space, coupled with the ability to restore, may be able to cure Kosake Inagi. So Oreki is also more attentive. But Chibashira-sensei, there is nothing wrong with her, but if she wants to change, it must be changing very quickly. At first she couldn't even smile. She was obviously pretty, but she was quite aloof. Some people say that Chibashira looks very similar to Horikita, just like the grown-up Horikita by Kuruzawa. Then you are great. Because Oreki-san thinks so too. Only. So how is the situation over there, Horikita-san? Oreki continued typing. What's going on? It's after class time now, and she's reading in her seat. Oh no, I held the book upside down. Speaking of which, Horikita-san seems to be acting strange these days. I always feel uneasy or something, Kuruzawa replied honestly. But she was also curious. Houtarou, you care so much about Horikita-san, could it be that I will choose to marry her in the future? Oreki typed. But the caller from Kuruzawa looked surprised. And Class D is here. Wei, there's nothing wrong with you. Sato-san saw that Kuruzawa's cell phone had dropped and he seemed to be sluggish, so he took the initiative to step forward. Only. When Sato-san's eyes fell on Kuruzawa's mobile phone screen, the first thing I saw was Houtarou written by Kuruzawa. Well, this probably refers to Oreki-san. Megumi had already had a showdown with her when they were on the ship. She also liked Houtarou. It would be better to say that she knew Houtarou Oreki earlier than she or even Saka Yanagi. As a result, it was snatched away. It's really miserable. Then Sato-san also saw the message from Oreki. The other party is getting married to Horikita Suzune. The other party chose to marry Horikita Suzune. Why? Sato-san almost couldn't hold Kuruzawa's cell phone. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yu Yet. Chapter 602. I obviously got some feeling of success from Saka Yanagi, but now, I suddenly feel that I am still a loser with no chance of winning. At the same time, Oreki-san is clearly dating Saka Yanagi, but why do you think he will marry Suzune Horikita in the end? Horikita Suzune. So Sato-san looked at this with an expression that looked like he was about to cry. I always feel that the class has become a little noisy, Horikita Suzun said while sitting in her seat reading a book. Kushida-san. It's good that you don't have to pay attention. Kushida-san happened to be passing by and heard the other party's voice. To outsiders, she and Horikita are friends. Although in the previous exam, Horikita Suzun always took the opportunity to scold her, which was very unpleasant. However, Kushida-san has decided to postpone his revenge on Horikita Suzun. And now she is Horikita Suzun's friend. Only. The girls are chatting about getting married, so just don't worry about it, Kushida-san said. She had heard more than once that Oreki Houtarou wanted to marry Horikita Suzun. So, she has peace of mind. Rather, I hope Oreki Houtarou can do it. Because, in this case, there is room for her to implement the operation. Oreki-san continued to look at his phone. Originally, I wanted to continue asking for some information about Horikita-san, but it seemed inappropriate now. Because. Missed call X16. Both Sato-san and Kuruzawa are trying their best to call him. Oreki. It was probably because of the news he just told, but Oreki-san didn't think there was anything wrong with it. After all. Now that you have a confirmed partner, it is normal to tell other girls. Rather than hiding it or something like that. However, whether they will accept it in the future is something they need to consider. Because he knew the outcome due to the precognitive dream, Oreki-san behaved quite calmly. In this way, in preparation for the cultural festival, students began to take action. Among them, every second-year student in the rules can receive a subsidy of 5,000 private points. But if you join a club, each person can receive an additional 1,000 points. These points can be used in cultural festivals, renting venues, or purchasing needed items, etc. However, these are budgets issued by the school, and what is issued are only private points. So, if you want the cultural festival to be a success, you can pay for it out of your own pocket. As for the students in Class A, they are probably the richest among all the students. So after Katsuragi-san recently compiled a list of students' projects, he started to integrate them, and then discovered the advantage of Class A, which is money. So unlike other classes, you can think about projects that cost money. Think so. Houtarou, do you want to come over and check me out? 3 days have passed. Sato-san and Kuruzawa seemed to have finally calmed down a bit. Then I started talking to him again. Rather say. In fact, his current girlfriend is Sakayanagi Yuzu, and their existence is abnormal. So although I couldn't accept that he would marry Horikita-san in the future for a while, I suddenly realized that it had nothing to do with them. As a result, everyone's relationship returned to normal. And now she probably wants to invite him to check out the Maid Cafe project. The students of Class D are very interested in the cultural festival activities. Of course, they want to get a reward of 100 points in the class evaluation. Of course, this is just a statement. The real move is actually to play. This school is very restrictive and students will feel uncomfortable. So if there is an exam that you can decide for yourself, then naturally, you want to diversify. So according to Hospi's report, apart from the hidden maid cafe, the students in the class have many plans, and they are all unconstrained. According to the rules of the cultural festival, the projects of each class will not be announced, but if other classes know about it and imitate it, it will be a big loss. Certainly. Oreki-san doesn't think that other classes can have as many natural beautiful girls as Class D. So even if you want to imitate, you can't imitate. Only. Chibashira-sensei. Oreki followed the GPS positioning and went to where Sato and the others were, and they applied for an empty science laboratory. Because it is not in use, there are not many desks inside. But when heading to the science laboratory, Oreki-san walked up, while a mature woman with a black single ponytail walked down from the top. And this woman was wearing a black women's suit with a white shirt. Good figure. At the same time, the appearance is not bad either. The pupils are beautiful and golden. And this is Chibashira Sae. She passed by Oreki-san. Because of the close distance, you can smell the faint scent of perfume on her body. After all, she is a mature big sister, so it is normal for her to use perfume. But Chibashira-sensei. Oreki looked at the other person and called his name. Chibashira just came out of the science laboratory. She is the homeroom teacher of Class D, and the students in her class apply for classrooms, and she is responsible for the procedures. So she just gave them the permission from the school to use the classroom. The boy who just walked up was Oreki Houtarou from Class A. Chibashira had calmed down at this point. She is no longer obsessed with class confrontation, and is no longer stubborn about her past actions. Rather say, the time she had stopped was finally beginning to turn. So even now that she saw the top students in Class A, she didn't have any fluctuations. But now this top student is looking for her? The direction Oreki headed was to the science laboratory, which was used by the students in her class. However, Oreki from Class A was friends with the girls from Class D. She knew this very well. So it makes sense that the other party wants to find a girl from Class D. Chibashira, on the other hand, was not familiar with the other party and was not prepared to talk to him. But now she was found. Do you know me? Oreki-san said. Chibashira. Chibashira looked over in confusion for a moment. Because? Aren't you Oreki Houtarou from Class A? The man behind Horikita Suzune, Chibashira said. That's a good argument, Oreki said. But, Chibashira-sensei, I mean, do you think I look familiar? Chibashira. So Chibashira turned into a hug with his arms crossed. Oreki-kun, are you trying to tease me? Then I'm sorry. Let's not mention that you are the boyfriend of the student council president Sakayanagi Arisu. Have you asked her so? Besides, as a teacher, I stop this kind of thing. At the same time, Chibashira paused. I don't like people who are younger than me, so please don't have any thoughts. It's good for you and me. Oreki. Is it? Instantly got a rejection card. But Oreki didn't come here to confess his feelings to the other person. Or why does the other person think this way? Oreki-san likes people like Sakayanagi or Horikita, not the big sister type like Chibashira. You misunderstood, Oreki said. Then I'll go up. Saying this, Oreki-san walked up the stairs. Chibashira was still standing where he was. Chibashira. So what does Oreki Houtarou mean? Of course Oreki-san has a purpose. In a precognitive dream 10 years later, teacher Chibashira gave the information that he might have traveled through time and space. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yet. Chapter 603. Then the other person knows him. However, the current Chibashira has no such thoughts at all. In other words, perhaps only by traveling through time and space and taking actions can it affect the present. So, if he traveled through time and space to cure Kosaka Ryu's heart disease, there is a high chance that Sakayanaga's body will be cured now. So, this plan is feasible. After walking up the stairs, Oreki-san arrived at the door of the science laboratory. But there was a girl standing at the door, seemingly ready to stand guard. At the same time, the laboratory windows were sealed from the inside with newspapers. So, you can't see what is going on in the classroom at all. From a confidentiality point of view, it's done well. You're still here, Oreki-san greeted the standing girl. Hello. This girl has relatively short hair and good motor skills. The name is Onodera. he is a rare athlete in Class D. However, her appearance is relatively ordinary, so now she is chosen to be the keeper of confidentiality. Well, it is quite reasonable. And thinking about it? Dong dong. Oreki Houtarou is here. Onodera knocked on the door. The room seemed to be surprised, as the sound of Yuji's rapid footsteps could be heard. But quickly. Let him come in, Kuruzawa's voice sounded. And Oreki-san opened the door. Almost instantly, the vision of the eyes touched the beautiful pink color. The first thing you notice is the room decorated with various ornaments and colorful strips. And then there's "Welcome back, Goshiujin sa." The 6 girls, uniformly dressed in red maid uniforms with white aprons, looked at Oreki-san and saluted at the same time. I instantly felt the impact of a girl. Because all the girls with good looks call you master at the same time. This feeling is really exciting. Chapter 285 Notorious, everyone unanimously quits the exam and begins. Although I know that the girls in Class D are very cute, and they are also familiar people. But I have to say that Oreki-san was shocked. They are obviously the same person, but after putting on a sweet and cute maid outfit, they give people a strong sense of contrast. It's like she is usually your roommate, but at various parties she goes directly to the stage to perform, extremely dazzling. But now this feels great. There are 6 maids in total. Among them are Kuruzawa, who wears a single blonde ponytail, Sato-san, who wears a hairpin specially, and Haruka Hospi, who looks quite natural. As well as Kushida-san, whose hair has grown long enough for a haircut, and her best friend Wangmayu-san. Then there is Kayaki Matsushita, whom I have met twice before. They were probably all in the same circle, so she must have participated. Welcome, this is the maid cafe, may I? Hospi-san said. Then Guziojin-sa, please come here. Here is the menu, you can choose anything? Carrot. It was obviously a conversation, but Oreki-san felt that Hospi's words were laced with emojis. Moreover, although they only asked him to come and take a look first, the decoration was quite decent. Because when I came in, the first thing that leaps into view is the unexpected array of colors. There are many brightly decorated decorations inside, making it difficult to imagine that this is a cold and ordinary classroom. By the way, generally speaking, classroom equipment has been updated and blackboards have been replaced with screens, but the laboratory building, which is rarely used, still has a whiteboard. Then they used the whiteboard to cutely write the name of the store on it with whiteboard markers. Really decent. So, what do you think of Houtarou? Sato-san asked. It's very attractive, Oreki-san said. But it's just you beautiful girls forming a team, so I feel like there's something missing. Kuruzawa also joined the conversation, but her voice was drawn out. So who else do you want to join in? Who else do you want to add? Or who else hasn't come? Oreki counted the people in the room. There are a total of 6 girls already wearing maid outfits. Sakura Eri sat aside obediently, but she was dressed in school uniform. Obviously, she still wasn't prepared to participate. So, Kushida-san is here now. And what about Horikita Suzune? Isn't Horikita-san here? Oreki said. She was in charge of logistics and decoration, Kuruzawa said. So I don't participate in the maids division of labor. You have such a beautiful posture, but you don't change your clothes, Kuruzawa said. It seems that he has some regrets about Horikita-san's choice. Is it? Oreki looked around and found no sign of Horikita Suzune. Horikita Suzune is repeating her old path. Probably because I finally realized the emotion of love and couldn't look directly at him. So, Kushida-san said before when taking out the trash that it was hard to imagine Horikita Suzune falling in love. And now, haven't you just seen it? Very innocent. But now the girls are all talking about Oreki-san, but Oreki-san mentions Horikita-san. Kurosawa and Sato already understand this. Horikita Suzun seems to be completely incompetent or uninterested in love matters, but she turns out to be the ultimate winner. They just couldn't do anything like being hostile to such Horikita Suzun. After all, Houtarou's current girlfriend is Sakayanagi Yuzu. If you want to be angry, it should be Sakayanagi-san who is angry. Actually, I just had an idea, Oreki-san said. After seeing your maid uniform, I felt refreshed. It suits you very well. But Oreki said, I met Chibashira-sensei on my way upstairs. So, since it is a cultural festival, is it possible to have a greater impact on people? Oreki-san said. So, although your maid outfit is very beautiful and very impactful, I think it is. Perhaps we can increase our intensity, Oreki said. Increase intensity, Matsushita-san made a note. She is probably the one among the girls who has relatively little contact with Oreki-san. But it's not easy to act in unison with everyone. And although Sato Kazu's maid outfit is very cute, Oreki thinks that someone like Matsushita-kun who looks slender and has a bit of a mature big sister vibe will be more attractive. Yes, Oreki said. Your strengths are your beauty and cuteness, but in terms of impact, I think you can add a little more. Then what's added? Now Sato and the others also paid attention. For example, if we add a special candidate, what do you think would happen if Chibashira-sensei also participates? Oreki said. But almost as soon as he said this, everyone looked over in surprise. Because, are you actually asking Chibashira-sensei to put on a maid outfit? Kurosawa said. But it's pretty good, isn't it? Hospi Haruka became interested. As for Hospi-san, Oreki's impression of her remains that Ichino-san is like an angel. But I want to see her fall. He is a different person. And now, of course, I am also interested in this unique topic. Chibashira-sensei is usually very cold. If you put on a maid uniform, it would be better to show a little shyness, then, it will definitely be very attractive, Hospi said. Then I gave you the suggestion, Oreki-san said, it depends on you how to get the other party's consent. Yeah, the girls had no objection. Sakura Eri, who is good at photography, also nodded quickly. Because she had already imagined what Chibashira-sensei looked like in her maid costume. I think it's quite feasible. If Chibashira-sensei were to put on a maid outfit, even she would want to take a photo with her counterpart or name her. In this way. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yu Yet. Chapter 604. The cultural festival activities of Class D, 2nd grade, are in full swing. On Oreki-san's side, Katsuragi-san finally confirmed the plan. Prepare for a cooking project. After all, Class A has money, so they plan to give some money away. As for Hiri-san from Class C, that's what she said. A class evaluation score of 100 points is just 10,000 private points added every month. No need. Looks quite proud. Oreki thought that the other party might have won the treasure hunt game, so he finally collected 20 million personal points. So it was a big deal. So our class was completely ruined and came in last place, but everyone could go to the cultural festival and have fun. Hiri-san also said the same thing. This statement made Oreki-san think for a moment. Because a class evaluation score of 100 points is indeed not very good. For example, among the current students in the same grade, Class B has lost the confidence to climb up the ladder, while Class C just wants to collect points in school and exchange them into cash to take out when they graduate. As for Class D, as long as they don't get expelled, that's fine. So, other classes have no desire to move up. So is it really meaningful to even get 100 points like Katsuragi-san? It always feels very hard. Only The activities and preparations for this cultural festival have just begun. On the third day, something unexpected happened. The specific manifestation is that the state of the class teacher Mashima is not quite right. Students, we are now announcing a special exam, teacher Mashima said. This is the special test this month. Then teacher Mashima paused. This time, I ask you to challenge the exam called the Special Unanimous Examination. Because the device has been updated, Mr. Mashima directs you to swipe on the touchscreen display. This special test is very simple. But the special examination will be implemented tomorrow. I think you can also detect the content from the name, which is to ask you to vote repeatedly in the class until a unanimous result is reached from the plural options. That is to say, come up with some questions and let all students vote. Until there is and is only one common outcome. Judging from the rules, it's pretty easy. But Oreki noticed that Mr. Mashima was frowning when describing the rules. In other words, even though I left Ueshin, there must be conditions in this exam that the teachers couldn't bear to see. Think so? Oreki looked at the silver-haired girl sitting next to him. Although Sakayanagi Yuzu was not in a daze and sighing like he did a few days ago. But now she is still absent-minded. So Oreki continued to listen to the rules of the exam. This special exam can only be completed in our class, so there will be no competition with rival classes. When the exam starts that day, the school will give you 5 topics. In addition, the topic content is common to all classes, so there is no need to compete with other classes. There will be a difference. Mashima-sensei said. Then, in order to give you a deeper understanding, let's take a look at the examples right away. Mr. Mashima continued to operate the display. Then came the examples. Example 1. 5 points for class evaluation will be deducted, but all students in the class will receive 10,000 personal points. Options for and against. The topic is displayed on the screen. So but Katsuragi-san stood up at this time and said, Teacher, in this example question, although 5 points of class evaluation points are deducted as a condition, does that mean that it will be implemented in the same way in the future? Katsuragi-san attaches great importance to points, everyone knows this. So I'm asking if I will be deducted points like the example questions. Yes, but teacher Mashima gave an accurate answer. Does that mean the trap is here? The examples will come true. Therefore, some excessive requirements will also be implemented. Only then did Mashima-sensei's state become wrong. Oreki-san thought to himself. And the other side. After the class meeting ended, Oreki looked at his phone. Because it is a new exam, the students in Class D are also taking it seriously, or rather, if they don't deal with it, they may drop out of school. It's not an exam like a cultural festival. Only. Oreki realized that what Kuruzawa and the others were talking about had nothing to do with the exam. Instead, he was discussing his homeroom teacher, Chibashira-sensei. And Oreki also remembered that he had previously suggested that they invite Chibashira to wear a maid uniform as a backup. So they were probably trying to convince Chibashira-sensei. Only. Kuruzawa, Chibashira-sensei is in really bad shape. Sato, yes, I also think that Chibashira-sensei was distracted when he informed me of the exam rules today. Hospi, is it possible that you are in love? For example, falling out of love or something like that. Sakura Eri, no, I always feel that Chibashira-sensei doesn't seem like someone who can fall in love. Oreki, then you are right, I think Chibashira-sensei will also be single after 10 years. Oreki-san replied. But Horikita Suzune. Kuruzawa. Kushida-san. Everyone is accustomed to Horikita Suzune's state. It seems that whenever Oreki-san appears, she wants to avoid it. This move looks very unique. And now they are chatting in the same chat group. Can Horikita Suzune be surprised or scared? Hey hey hey. What a green love. The girls who knew about this, all understood. Only Oreki, in other words, Chibashira-sensei is not in the right state, right? Oreki, the same goes for Mr. Majima in our class. Oreki, and the rules of the exam. Horikita, well, I'll let Kushida-san explain it to you when the time comes. But Sato, doesn't it mean that as long as everyone chooses the same answer, the level will be cleared? Sato, so, the difficulty is how to get everyone to choose the same answer. Oreki, that's what I said, but Mr. Mashima of our class said that there is a high chance that the request to complete the 5 questions will be regarded as a real thing. Oreki, just like the example question you saw, if 5 points of class evaluation are deducted, all students in the class can get 10,000 points. Oreki, and after making unanimous choices, you will really be deducted 5 points from the class rating, and then the whole class will receive a reward of 10,000 points. So this is an example question that has become a reality. Then it will be full of traps. Oreki, so, that's what you need to be careful about. Hospi, hey. Kuruzawa, so if the example question says that we should choose one student to drop out of school, wouldn't we have to do it? Oreki. It seems that we have found the reason for Mashima-sensei's shaky behavior. Because this is a highly nurturing high school where strength comes first. It is hoped that students will compete, gain experience and improve themselves from competition. But it is undeniable that this school is also very cruel, so it is common for 1 or 2 students to drop out. In this way, it was obviously a unanimous exam with simple rules, and it began to be taken seriously by the students. P.S. Tomorrow, 1 person, 1 keyboard, and 1 computer will be a miracle. Chapter 286 Value of 20 million. Start assessment. Options for dropouts. 16K. From the performance of the head teachers of each class, we can see clues that this time the exam is not simple, and it may involve the possibility of dropping out of school. Generally speaking, there have been several exit exams last year, and Principal Yu Cheng also personally conducted the class voting exit exam, but this time it would make the class teachers look so ugly. It shows that the content of the exam must also be unreasonable. And through Hospi-san's words, if there are dropouts in this exam, generally speaking, the unsuitable ones will be deleted to increase the excellence of the group. However, after a year of getting along, the students who should be deleted have been deleted, so the remaining students should not be deleted. Rather, if someone is expelled from school, it may cause vacillation. Especially now that he has reached 2nd grade, Oreki's class is already very stable. Naturally, there is no need to shake people's hearts, so once the most dangerous ones appear, they must be identified as dropouts. It is very important to gather points for relief. While Oreki was thinking this, he received a text message from Ichinose at about 7 o'clock in the evening. Archangel Ichinose said that he hoped to meet him at night, and according to Oreki's experience, Ichinose's IQ is not low, so he probably got this test from the expression of their class teacher. It looked simple. In fact, it shows that it is surrounded by crises. It's a lie to say they met, but maybe it's true to say they're gathering points. Because they had to protect their classmates during the class vote to withdraw from the exam last year, and they have not recovered until now. Moreover, their class evaluation score is only over 1,000 points. After deducting the necessary monthly living expenses, the whole class can only accumulate about 2 million points in a month. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yu Yet. Chapter 605. 20 million is a drop in the bucket. Oreki and Archangel Ichinose are not outsiders, it is better to say that they may still be a family in the future. Therefore, if Ichinose makes a request, he will usually not refuse. The time agreed upon was 7 o'clock, and the place was Oreki-san's room. Today, Oreki got his cat back from Sakayanagi Arasu. So while waiting for Itchy Nose, he was playing with the cat. It must be said that Sakayanagi Yuzu has the ability to raise people to death. The Oreki family cat has become white and fat, and it should be said that it is majestic. Ordinary cats look light and cute, but Oreki-san's cats are bulky and cute. After playing with the cat for a while, Archangel Ichinose rang the doorbell. Ichinose-san probably felt that he had something to ask for, so he made preparations. The reason why he said this was that Oreki noticed that she had changed into his own casual clothes, a blue plaid skirt, but her shoulders were exposed, and her skin was white and translucent. At the same time, her legs are long and slender. Well, I always feel that Ichinose has been dressed up and smells good. It's just that Oreki-san feels that their relationship doesn't need to be so artificial. Of course, it's also possible that Ichinose, an honest person, still remembers the mission Nagamo-senpai asked her to pursue, which is to pursue him. The purpose was probably to destroy the relationship between him and Sakayanagi Arasu, but Oreki felt that Nagamo-senpai was probably thinking too much, because the relationship between him and Sakayanagi-san didn't need to be destroyed at all. According to the prediction, the way the dream goes, he and Sakayanagi will break up this year. Then she proposed to Suzun Horikita when she graduated, so the relationship was separated without breaking it. Of course, this is only on the surface. In the future, everyone will be together. And this future Oreki-san didn't hate it. Although he was a little surprised, he thought it was good. Especially, Suzu, Nene, Alice, and now couldn't give up. Then there would be no responsibility. Would you like some coffee? Oreki-san said after inviting Ichinose in. Ah, there is no need to treat me like this. Did Oreki-san say that cats can grow so fat? It turned out that the first thing Ichinose paid attention to was Oreki-san's cat, which was fed fat by Sakayanagi-san. It's not just boys. Girls actually don't have much resistance to cats either. Don't look at it like this. Its previous name was Gale, but I think it's now called Bulky. So saying, Oreki-san threw a small paper ball out. But Hate quickly caught up. Then he took the small paper ball back. Not just cats, not just fat, his cats also have the potential to become puppies. Eh? But I think it's cute even if it's a little chubby, Ichinose said. If you like it, I can lend it to you temporarily, Oreki-san said. Sakayanagi-san has been in a bad mood for the past 2 days, so Oreki brought the cat back. And if Ichinose wanted it, he could just lend it to her. Hey, is that okay? Thank you. I actually like cats too. It's furry, and it's easy to touch, eh? Oreki-san, it needs to be touched. Ichinose-san touched Hade's head with his hand, and the cat put its head against it. This is a sign of being used to being touched. But looking at Ichinose's expression, Oreki-san started to think. Girls all seem to like fat people, just like the little quilt wants to make him fat. Oreki-san has already experienced this. In this way. Although Ichinose-san said no, Oreki-san still served her coffee. Then the two of them sat at the table, with Oreki sitting on the chair and Ichinose sitting on the bed. After all, there were no extra chairs in his room. The dormitory was for single occupancy, so there was only one chair. As a courtesy to his guests, Oreki chose to sit on the chair himself, and then let the guests sit more comfortably on the bed. However, Ichinose seemed a little embarrassed to be so considerate. She was asking for help today, but Oreki-san's behavior made her feel as if she was here to do other things. So Ichinose quickly said, Oreki-san, actually I hope to borrow points from you this time. The head teacher of our class also informed us of the exam rules. The exam rules seem very simple, but they always make people feel uneasy. In other words, did you come to him for help because you felt uneasy? But the feeling of being relied on is not too bad. Then Oreki-san said. In this special exam, Our class asked the class teacher about the example questions that appeared on the example questions. For example, the whole class was asked to make a choice, and then the results had to be unanimous. Then if 5 points of class evaluation points were deducted, 10,000 private points could be obtained. If everyone chooses yes, will the class evaluation scores also be deducted? The answer given by the class teacher is actually yes, so this time the special test looks simple. I think there may be some trouble. For example, once a topic comes up and the whole class has to choose one person to drop out, how should this situation be handled? Oreki said. This was Hospi-san's idea, but judging from the teacher's performance, Oreki felt that such an unreasonable move was very possible. Just saying that, Ichino's expression changed as expected. In other words, she had also considered the worst possibility. Ah, sure enough, I think the same way, and I always feel uneasy. And now, in this special examination, once students are designated to drop out of school, our class will definitely not be able to do it. This has been proven in last year's in-class exit voting test. Ichino's class is the only one among the 4 classes where no one has dropped out. They collected 20 million points in the class and chose to protect their classmates. This perseverance and unity are enviable but also a burden for them. Therefore, if there is another forced dropout, then their class can only choose to use the 20 million points again, so Oreki-san looked at Ichino's. So did you come here specifically to borrow money from me? Ichino's Oreki said. Goo. Ichino's expression turned embarrassed. That. Terribly sorry. Ichino's lowered his head. So what you're wearing now is? Oreki-san said. That. Archangel Ichino's was even more embarrassed. I feel like, Oreki-san might borrow it if that's the case. Oh. Is it? It's using beauty attacks. Indeed. Oreki-san didn't just ask Ichino-san for help because he was a womanizer. Just helping is helping. You are really willing to do this. But Ichino-san, Oreki-san said. I am now Sakayanagi Arisu's boyfriend. Sorry, Ichino's apologized quickly. I didn't want to get in among you, and I didn't want to feel sorry for Sakayanagi. If it's because of Nagamo-senpai, then I think it's okay not to obey his orders, Oreki said. Ichino's was stuck. Because Nagamo-senpai indeed entrusted me with this. Only. Ichino's also knew it very well. She tried to contact Oreki-san, but the other party didn't respond to her. Rather, she is a little pretentious. So. Ichino's became very embarrassed. As for the points, Oreki-san said. I can lend it to you. But. It's not good to always borrow for free, Oreki said. And it doesn't make sense if you keep giving. For it. Ichino's understood that Oreki-san was talking about the last class vote to drop out, when she spent 10 million points by herself. Therefore, the students in the class spent only about 10 million. And the money was compensation for the rumors spread by Senior Nagaun before. So, Oreki-san probably means that she has been giving. She likes this class and hopes to protect everyone. She wanted to say it was her choice. Just when I think about it. She found Oreki-san walking towards her. Then he took her left hand. Ichino's was puzzled. Give me a hug, Oreki-san said. It's rare that you dressed up today, so why don't you give me a hug? But this move and these words made Archangel Ichino's open his eyes in shock. Because. So why? Oreki-san, haven't you been rejecting her? Do you want to hug her now? In this way. It's a mess in Class C, and Class B is borrowing money. Although some students in Class D know that there may be a risk of dropping out of school during the exam. But it's impossible to bear the price of 20 million points. And they don't think any student in the class is worth 20 million. So the only thing that can be done is to try their best to ensure that they themselves will not be dropped out of school. And for that, Class D Mutual Aid Group. Oreki, the exams will start tomorrow, although considering that the worst case scenario might be to vote someone out of school again. Oreki, and for the sake of self-protection, I suggest you all get together as a team tomorrow. Oreki, in order to ensure the directness of the exam, the use of mobile phones will probably be prohibited. So you can agree in advance that the results will be released tomorrow, and then you will all choose the same answer. Sato, it seems like this is the only way. Sato, so why does the school always like the punishment of expulsion? Kuruzawa, who knows? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yet. Chapter 606. Although the school's examination requirements have always been excessive, but it is undeniable that this school is very worthwhile whether it waives tuition or gives them a closed new world. And the most important thing is that I met someone I like here. So, that Kuruzawa sent a personal message to Oreki. If I were chosen to drop out of school, you will not be kicked out of school. Oreki-san responded quickly. Eh? So Houtarou, you are willing to give me 20 million to drop out of school and avoid punishment? I guess so. In fact, you can't say that. Because 20 million is exempted from dropping out of school and 20 million can be used to live, Oreki-san's concept has not changed. So if Hui is really going to be kicked out of school, then he might give her 20 million. And Hui's future job is as his secretary and assistant, there is no need to require academic qualifications, etc., and she also knew from the precognitive dream that she would not be expelled from school. But it's okay to say something that everyone likes, right? And the other side. Oreki-kun took the cat back Sakayanagi-yuzu's room. Kamuro-san is talking to Sakayanagi-san. It was about Oreki-san taking the cat back. Originally, the cat Oreki was lent to Atayanaga to make her life less boring, but everyone knew about Sakayanagi-yuzu's state. He had been acting a little weird recently, such as being absent-minded, and as someone around Atayanaga. Kamuro-san knows very well that there is only one reason why Sakayanagi Arisu is wavering, and that is that after the last ship test, Sakayanagi got the information that Oreki-san is quite popular with girls. And I confirmed it myself. At the same time, it was also confirmed that as a girlfriend, she is simply very horny. Although she is the one he is dating, everyone can have sex with her. Even Oreki-san's first kiss was not with her as his girlfriend. And Sakayanagi-yuzu also found that the tie he gave to Houtarou became a weapon to attract girls. This is too much. So Sakayanagi-yuzu is probably seriously thinking about how to deal with the current relationship. As for breaking up, leaving Oreki-san is basically impossible. It can only be said that breaking up is okay, but the relationship she has to keep it, which means that she may soon implement the plan of dropping out of school early that she mentioned before. And this is true for Kamuro-san. Sakayanagi Arisu's dropping out of school also means her dropping out of school. Maesumi Kamuro had heard Itayanaga's proposal before. When Sakayanagi dropped out of school, she also dropped out and served him for 10 years. Then Itayanaga would give her 1 billion in funds in the 10th year, and no matter who the fund was, all will be shaken. And she is only 18 years old now. In 10 years, she will not be very old. In other words, if she has a financial foundation, she can do anything in the future, and even 1 billion can silence her parents for such a thing. So even though Kamuro-kun says he refuses, he actually agrees with it in his heart. Just take the cat back. What I'm thinking about right now is not about breaking up, Sakayanagi said. I had a dream during my lunch break. It seemed like I was dreaming about the future. In the future, Oreki-san and I will have a child together. The child is very smart and has inherited the talents of me and Oreki-san, but there is one problem. The daughter I gave birth to is not the eldest daughter. This is very strange. Does that mean it's actually possible for someone to be braver than me? Kamuro-san. Okay. Sakayanagi, please stop talking. By the way, you are dreaming, how can things in dreams come true? And is there anyone with stronger attack power than you? In this way, the highly offensive and unanimous choice to drop out of school begins. As second-year students, Oreki-san and the others have also gone through a lot of special exams. And almost every exam is accompanied by the punishment of dropping out of school or deducting private points or class evaluation scores. But now this time the exam can make the teachers emotionally shaken. It should be his unreasonableness. In fact, it's not just Majima-sensei, Chibashira-sensei, and according to Archangel Ichino's, Hashinomi Yachiya-sensei in their class is also in a bad state. When announcing the rules, he said something like it's actually this exam too. During the previous exam on the uninhabited island, Oreki heard that these 4 homeroom teachers were all students of the same period of Nurture High School. It seems that they have experienced this kind of exam in the past. So everyone has some memories. Teacher Mashima's condition seems to have recovered slightly. After all, although it is unreasonable, as a student of Class A, he also has his own decision. As a teacher, he just needs to watch. In this way. Well, now please turn off your cell phones and put them in the drawer. Mashima-sensei said. Then take out the tablet and we will answer the next questions on the tablet. Then the process will be carried out according to the rules from now on, so if you leave your seat outside of halftime, or chat during prohibited hours, I will give you a warning without mercy. You should pay more attention. Teacher Mashima carried out the requirements of the examination room rules. They were not allowed to use mobile phones to contact them, and they were also asked to use tablets to answer questions directly. This effectively prevents students from communicating privately while maintaining anonymity. Yes. It only confirms everyone's choices and does not track who filled in what answers. At the same time, you will not raise your hand or the like to give people a chance to confirm your answer. In other words, he wants to cause trouble. In this way, Oreki-san began to concentrate. And before the exam starts, Oreki looked at the silver-haired girl sitting next to him. Sakayanagi. I always feel that Sakayanaga's condition is getting worse. Sakayanagi Oreki called to his opponent. Sakayanagi looked over. And Oreki stretched out his hand to her. Do you want to shake hands? Sakayanagi doesn't dislike being in contact with Houtarou. Rather, it's rare that Oreki-san asks for a post. So she stretched out her little hand. Holding hands with Oreki-san. However, almost at this moment, I felt the power of healing. This is a very nice enjoyment, and I can experience it every time when shaking hands with Oreki-san. But Sakayanagi sighed even more. Because Oreki-san is very good, but she only dreams about green here. Uncomfortable. Teacher Mashima didn't know that his 2 proud students were thinking about other things. And the special examination that is unanimous and must be treated with caution and full strength begins. Majima stood at the electronic screen that replaced the blackboard. First of all, let me tell you the rules. After the question comes out, you have 1 minute to think about the answer. Then the answer will be automatically confirmed after 1 minute. Mashima-sensei said. In this way, the screen switches and the countdown starts from 26 seconds. This is probably an error caused by the slightly slower starting signal, but it has no impact on the students. Not long after, the countdown reached 0, and the text switched to different content, showing the first topic. Topic: choose which class you will compete with in the final exam held in the third semester. Note, even if the class level changes, this choice will be given priority. The numbers in are the additional class evaluation points that can be obtained when winning the battle. Option Class B, 100, Class C, 50, Class D, 0. And as you asked before, the exam questions are based on reality. So, this option is a special test held at the end of the second year to decide the opponent. As for the person you choose now, even if there is a change in class ranking, the class you currently choose will remain in the final exam. For ordinary Class A, if you must choose to fight against an opponent, you may be able to choose a weaker opponent to maintain your advantage. As for the current Class A, I'm afraid there is no other choice except Class B. Because Class A this time is too strong, Class B is not on the same level as them. Then, let's start the first vote. The time limit is 60 seconds, Teacher Mashima said. If it exceeds these 60 seconds, it will enter the penalty time. Because the time was very tight, the students did not have much time. They thought directly and wrote their answers on the tablets. Then Teacher Mashima was waiting for the system's prompt. This system is thanks to the contribution of Principal Yu Chang, who has left, and the facilities and configurations have been updated with money. And now it's ready to use. Only. The current exam gave these teachers a strong sense of déjà vu, because they also faced a similar assessment when they competed for Class A in the end. And among the questions that everyone unanimously agreed on, there was also the last question. So, I have lingering fears. So, since everyone has voted, the voting results will be announced next, Teacher Mashima said. The first voting result was 35 votes from Class B, 6 votes from Class C, and 0 votes from Class D. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yu Yet. Chapter 607. The votes were concentrated in Class B, to which Ichinos belonged, rather than Class D, which was the lowest ranked. It would be better to say that no one among the 41 students in Class A chose Class D as the most bullied. That is to say. Sure enough, it is the pride of being an elite. But, because there was no unanimous consensus, a half-time break will be set up, Mr. Majima added. 10 minutes are then given and students are allowed to leave their seats freely to interact or talk with other students. It doesn't matter if you want to speak a little louder or just whisper to specific students. In other words, although the mobile phones were taken away, communication among students was not completely prohibited. Rather say, after confirming that the answers are inconsistent, then students are allowed to convince themselves of their opinions. And for students in Class A, then, let's choose Class B as the challenge target, Sakayanagi stood up and said. Then, the 6 students who chose Class C understood. This is the unanimous consensus of Class A. The same test questions are also conducted in other classes. The first question is not difficult. Just choose. But here in class, the first voting results were 0 votes for Class A, 40 votes for Class C, and 0 votes for Class D. Even after seeing this result, the head teacher of Class B couldn't help but complain. Because the classes are different, the answer to the first question will be changed to the other 3 classes except myself. Only. Everyone in Class B has lost their temper because they all avoided the option of Class A. Then I couldn't bear to bully Class D, so I chose Class C. Teacher, your status dash, it's just the little angels from Class B, they are paying attention to the status of their head teacher. Yes. Normally Hashinomi Yachiya sensei is either drinking or feeling a little drunk. But now, there is a sense of solemn atmosphere. This serious and suppressed feeling made everyone feel that the teacher was a bit strange. So everyone is worried about her condition. Well, thank you for your concern. I can control my emotions because the teacher used to be a student of this school. Then I also experienced a similar unanimous test. At that time, Our class failed, so we were in a bad mood, Hashinomi Yachi said. Is it? But this means that this time the exam is definitely not simple, and it is not as simple as the current so-called selection of class corresponding exams. Only then did Kanzaki-san react. The exam was announced yesterday and will be held today. They seemed unprepared for anything. And Archangel Ichinose is here. Ichinose-san, are you not feeling well? Because the whole audience was unanimous, they also got a 10-minute break. The timid-looking Chihiro Shirami, who had confessed to Ichinose in the past, is paying attention to Ichinose-san. The two have become friends. As for Ichinose, he regarded Chihiro as a one-touch figure. So the relationship between the two has always been very good. As Chihiro, who cared very much about Ichinose-san, she quickly realized what Ichinose-san seemed to be troubled about today. And what are you really bothered about? Yes. Ichinose-san's mind is now filled with what happened last night. She borrowed money from Oreki-san last night, of course, for the class. And he was also asked by the other party, is it really good to keep paying for the class like this? Yes. She also knows that she has been giving, but she also cherishes the time she spends with her classmates. So she is willing to make some sacrifices. And she was very grateful that Oreki-san was willing to lend her points. But yesterday's Ichinose-san also paid the price. Some of the things that appeared in the book recommended to Oreki-san were actually tested by her. Ah. So why is this happening? Is she a bad girl? Yes. Although a very important exam is taking place now, and I have 20 million points to avoid the worst situation, but the class representative of Class B was thinking about something completely unrelated to this point. As for Class C and Class D, Class C's votes are also very straightforward. Class A has 0 votes, Class B has 40 votes, and Class D has 0 votes. Although the students in Class C have similar configurations to Class D even lacks the bad guy like Juinji, and it seems that its strength has weakened. But no matter how you look at it, the little angels and little sheep of Class B are more suitable for attack. Then we arrived at Class D. The results of the first round of options are: Class A has 3 votes and Class B has 3 votes. Class C has 33 votes. For students in Class D, it is safest to find an opponent who looks the weakest. Only someone actually chooses Class A. This is also very brave. But this place was originally just a beach of loose sand. So after seeing everyone else choose Class C, and after the second round of revoting, all the students unanimously chose Class C as their opponent. It's quite a strange sight. And on the chairman's side, several teachers stay together. Usually the people on the chairman's side do the statistical work. The results of students' selections are first sent to their studios. Only. Chairman, is it too early to let students go through the final unanimous voting test that only occurs in 3rd grade this time? The staff member said. Yes. The current exam is actually an assessment that only 3rd graders will encounter. The philosophy of this school is to educate students. Then the difficulty is constantly increasing. Therefore, tests like this, which ultimately require the whole class to vote for students to drop out and make decisions, are also used to hone students' minds in the 3rd grade. As a result, the second-year students have just started their first semester and it will not be long before they begin. So this staff member felt it was a little premature. Although Yu Cheng has left, these exams of Yu Cheng have also made it more difficult for second graders. So their current level is enough to cope with the current assessment. Besides, there shouldn't be any big problems in the exam. This is the chairman's reply. Is it? Yes. This staff member feels that the current class rankings and the like have stabilized. So even if 500 points are given as plus or minus points, there won't be any big surprises in each class. After all, students are already familiar with the exit exam. In this way, Topic 2 has begun. All student reselect ions were completed consistently. Then. Topic 2 plans to hold an educational trip in late November, so please choose where you want to go. Option Shikado Kitokinawa. Almost as soon as this option appeared, Oreki discovered that even the students in class A were wavering. For example, what is this? You can hear the students making such sounds. Yes. Is it such a good thing to go on a school trip after the cultural festival? But this option is no longer consistent. Because where you want to go during your school trip depends entirely on your own wishes. Some people want to go to Kyoto, but others want to go to Okinawa. You can only purely think about which option you should choose, and then vote. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yet. Chapter 608. This vote is similar to the one just now. The decision is not finalized by just one vote. Depending on the situation of the other three classes, the result may also change. You must understand this first, teacher Mashima said. Then start watching the countdown that lasts for 1 minute. By this time, all students had finished answering. Here in Class A. The results of the first voting were 20 votes from Hokkaido, 10 votes from Kyoto, and 11 votes from Okinawa. Very natural. Without any instructions from Sakayanagi, Oreki or Katsuragi-san, everyone followed their own wishes. So now, what to choose? Because the results are different, there is a 10-minute rest period, teacher Mashima said. And this time the result cannot be the same as last time. But it doesn't matter. After all, this is Class A. Although some students in the class have their own ideas, no one will speak out. It is better to say that there is no need to fight for this thing at this time. When you graduate as Class A in the future, you can play whatever you want. So what matters now is the opinion of their class representatives. In this way, therefore, students will choose to listen to the opinions of the class representative. So what do the class representatives think? And although there is also Katsuragi-san among the representatives of Class A, Katsuragi-san is even the vice president of the student union. But it is obvious that the person who really calls the shots is the student council president Sakayanagi Arisu. So what decision will Sakayanagi Arisu make? Oreki-kun, where would you like to go on a school trip? President Sakayanagi asked. Is it? Oreki-san felt the eyes of the whole class looking over at him. And now Sakayanagi actually gave him this opportunity to choose. In fact, from this perspective, I feel sorry for Sakayanagi-san. Because she always seemed to want to give him choices and good things, but he didn't fully respond. And now, I've been to Kyoto, Oreki-san said. Choose Hokkaido. If it's time for a school trip, then you can ski at that time. Skiing. Oreki-san said this. Although he restrained his thoughts, most of the classmates were convinced. Because most people had no experience watching or playing in snow, Class A quickly agreed on the answer. Class A, 41 votes chose Hokkaido. I thought you would refuse, Kojinji-san. While waiting for the next question, the students in Class A were given a break. It seems that other classes are unable to make choices as quickly as they do. So it's still under discussion. But some students looked at the new Class A student. Rokusuke Kojinji jumped up after collecting 20 million points. Hashimoto-san started asking questions. Haha, actually to me, that place is the same. Yuanji-san said this. That's true. He is the only son of the Kojinji Zaibatsu, so what place has he not visited? In fact, if students from Class D were here, they would be very surprised. Because Kojinji seems to have become very cooperative after coming to Class A. No thorns at all. This is natural. Yuanji knows where and what to do. Especially, now that he is in the comfort zone of Class A, which is suitable for him, there is no need to cause trouble for himself. And, in fact, Kojinji is also thinking about whether he can arrange for Oreki-san to come over and do work for him. But it's a pity. The other party is in a relationship with Sakayanagi Arisu, and Sakayanaga's father is from the current Prime Minister's faction. In other words, simply relying on this relationship, Jyuan Temple cannot invite each other at will. Because it is also possible that Sakayanagi Yuzu is thinking of letting Oreki-san take over the position of chairman of the family. Therefore, it is a little regrettable for Kojinji Temple. Probably because other classes had different opinions, they didn't continue to the third question until half an hour later. Oreki-san, on the other hand, continued to read the questions. Topic: the personal points issued each month based on the class evaluation scores will become 0, but 3 students will be randomly selected from the class and given protection points. Or the personal points issued will be reduced to half, but any student can be selected to give protection points. If you do not want to choose any of the above sides, the personal points of those who are among the bottom 5 in the next written test will become 0. Option 123. Note, no matter which option is selected, the period of forfeiture of personal points will last for half a year. When this topic came out, the students immediately started thinking. Because this is different from the 2 questions so far. This question has great advantages and disadvantages for the class. Option 1 will result in the loss of a huge amount of personal points, so the rewards will be greater, but the fact that students are randomly selected and given protection points cannot be ignored. After all, this school is rife with dropout exams. Therefore, if you can bring protection points to your class to exempt important class representatives from being expelled from school, still worth it? But in this case, the situation will be quite painful. Because the class evaluation score of Class A is more than 3,500 points. In other words, each student has about 350,000 private points credited to his account every month. And a class of 41 people is worth about 14 million points. And if it is reduced by half, then each person will only have about 170,000 private points. The class can only get more than 7 million. And this protects a student. And if the whole class has 0 points, then it can be responsible for protecting 3 people. For this, if none are selected, the last 5 students in the written test will also receive no points. It can be said that the first 2 questions are just sub-questions. But now this option is different. You need to think about which one is beneficial to choose. And it's all related to oneself. Then it's still the same. Please answer within 1 minute, Teacher Mashima said. He also noticed that this time the expressions of his classmates began to change. Because this option is easy for other classes, but for a high-point class like Class A, it is difficult to choose. Because once the points are reduced, they will be calculated in millions per month. Drop. And 1 minute is over. And everyone's options have come to fruition. Option 1: there are 4 people in the class who have received 0 points for half a year. Option 2: there are 16 people in the class who get half the points for half a year. Option 3: the bottom 5 students in the written test scored 0 points in the private exam and 21 people. It seems that more people choose option 3. Because the options were inconsistent, there was an intermission, said Mr. Majima. There is no way around it. And since it was break time, students were not forced to stay in their seats. So there was a disagreement for the first time, and Katsuragi-san came to Oreki and Sakayanaga's side. Although option 1 seems to protect 3 students, it is too much pressure on our class / Because the whole class in our class can get 14 million points in 1 month, and 20 million can avoid the penalty of dropping out of school once, so it can be completed in 4 months at most by gathering the strength of the whole class. As for option 2, having the points for half a year can only protect 1 person, but the loss in the process is 700x6, which is more than 40 million points which can protect 2 people. After thinking about it, Option 3 is the most cost-effective. The bottom 5 students don't have living expenses for half a month, but we can share it with the whole class. It should be said to be a good answer. It fits Katsuragi-san's steady thinking pattern very well. Only. Oreki-san, what are you thinking about? Katsuragi-san noticed that Oreki-san was still thinking. President Sakayanagi, on the other hand, took out his cell phone with an expressionless face, took a photo, and then put the phone down. These two are lovers, so doing anything is normal. Rather, Katsuragi was actually quite worried that these two people had done something and caused the car to overturn. So he is also working hard in another aspect. I'm thinking this is the third question, so what's the fifth question? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yet. Chapter 609. The third topic. Indeed. Now it is only the third question that already requires students to make a choice. And it must be implemented after making a choice. Then you need to make a choice carefully. So the questions will become increasingly difficult. And in other classes. As for this question, there is no problem in choosing. Among them, Archangel Ichinos from Class B, 2nd grade, is here. It's at the expense of the class. Protect 3 students. Class evaluation scores for the current 4 classes are as follows. Grade 2 classes scored 3,568.5 points. Grade 2 Class B 1,701.5 points. Class C, Grade 2, scored 588 points. Class D, Grade 2, scored 492 points. Among them, Class B's points are only over 1,000, so what everyone can collect in a month is only about 5 million private points. Clearing it for half a year can protect 3 students, which means private points worth 60 million. It looks like a profit. And even the having option can protect a student and make money. As for not considering the option of protecting students from dropping out in the end, but instead arranging students with 0 points or something at the end of the 5 written tests, there were no candidates. This is an opportunity. After the first choice, students in the class also had different answers. Some people have option 1, some people have option 2, but there is no option 3 for students. This shows that the college students in this class are really the type of people who work together and want to help others. Have a spirit of self-sacrifice. Everyone, let's choose option 2. After receiving an intermission because the options were inconsistent, Ichino stood up and said. Although option 1 looks beautiful. Good deal. But what is obtained is the protection of 3 specific students, so if the exam dropouts fall on other people, and then because there are no points transferred for half a year, they can't do anything. So, after all, option 2 was chosen. In this way, the Angel class of Class B, Grade 2, passed smoothly here. As for Class C, option 1. As a result, all 39 people chose this. Because there is nothing better than giving 3 dropout protection points for free. What a deal. As for Class D, 5 people chose option 1, 6 people chose option 2, and then 28 people chose option 3. I can only say that he is very Class D. After Takahiraji left, the unity of the students in this class declined. It would be better to say that Horikita Suzun wanted to change jobs. Then it also involves the decrease of one's own class points, so choosing a situation that does not harm one's own interests is the most important. But so many people chose the written exam and the last 5 students dropped out. So natural. Why choose the written test? The person who speaks on behalf of this aspect is Chi Kwanzi. He was friends with the last dropout, Yamauchi, and was also Yamauchi's scapegoat at that time. But now I didn't expect that after Yamauchi left, I was also in crisis. Yes. Chi is ranked last in OAA's system evaluation. This is very disappointing. He has always hoped to change this place. You must know that according to the urine nature of this class, if the class votes to withdraw from the exam again, then he will probably be expelled. Because he is ranked last. So I regret that when Gao Yuanji classmate started the class, he did not participate. Then he saw that Sakura and Syudu, who were even worse academically than him, had already taken off. Horikita-san, Hirata-san, you don't think you can do this, either, and she chose foreign aid. One of the foreign aides is Hirata-san. Hirata-san exploded during the last class vote to drop out of the exam. It seems that he doesn't want his companion to leave. Now, Chi wants Hirata to become a companion. And if he could prevent his companion from leaving, Hirata would definitely be a friend. Although he was redeemed by Ayanokaji, Ayanokaji was regarded by him as an intimate and someone who must be protected. But he also pays attention to ordinary classmates. How do you think you should choose, Horikita-san? Personally, I would choose option 2. Or option 1, Hirata said. If the students in our class can get protection points, it will be very beneficial. Actually no. Hirata hopes to get a protection point for Ayanokaji-san. In the previous command tower exam, Ayanokaji's protection points were cancelled. Later, someone wanted Ayanokaji to drop out of school, so Hirata decided to protect his companions. That's not good at all, but at this time someone refuted Hirata. That was Megami Kuruzawa with a beautiful golden single ponytail. Because the current class evaluation scores are mostly those of Takaharaji-san and Horikita-san, right? And if this is cleared, it would be unfair to them, Kuruzawa said. And this is true in the eyes of some students. Can I use other people's points to exchange for protection points? But, you can't choose third place, Ji Kwanzi said. If it's a loss of personal points, let's use the class average, Horikita Suzun said. In other words, is it still option 3 in the end? But if the points of the last 5 pen rank students are cleared, then there seems to be no problem if they can still be released as a class. Chi decided not to speak. But why do we have to make sacrifices for those 5 students? Isn't it a bitter consequence that I should bear if I don't study well? This is Yokomura-san, who is more academically capable. He pushed up his glasses. Now, most of the evaluation scores in the original class belong to Horikita Suzun and Takaharaji, and everyone only gets the 20,000 points they signed the agreement to eat. Will these points still be reduced? No matter what choice you make, you have to pay points, Horikita-san said. So, the choice now is to spend the least amount of money. Or are the 3 or 1 students who chose option 1 or option 2 and obtained the protection quota willing to bear the losses of me and Takaharaji-san, Horikita Suzun said. For it. After Horikita Suzun said this, everyone remained quiet. Because of compensation or something, how could they have any points to compensate? In this way. In the end, Class D ended this question by losing 5 students' points. So. And Mashima-sensei continued. Now let's start topic 4. Because there was a delay in the network, a network abnormality was displayed, so the screen rotated for 22 seconds before it started to recover. And the topic has already come out. Topic: in the written examination at the end of the second semester, the following rules selected will be applied to the class. Options: increase difficulty, increase penalties, decrease rewards. There was such a bad-minded choice. Either option would only be bad for the class. If the current minute was the time allowed to talk privately, there would be a lot of complaints. But no matter how you think about it, you only have 1 minute to think about it. However, if there is disagreement later on, there will be an intermission for discussion. But Class A, 2nd grade. The number of people who chose to increase the difficulty level is 0. The number of people who chose to increase punishment is 0. The number of people who chose to reduce their remuneration was 41. Actually, they all chose the last option. There is nothing to say about this. After all, Class A has the advantage, so reducing the remuneration is the best solution. In this way. End of question 4. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yet. Chapter 610. As for other classes, Class B's choice for this question was to increase the difficulty level. But Class C and Class D had the same answer this time. They all choose to increase punishment. After all, for them, rewards and other rewards would be meaningless if they were reduced. They are all short of money. In other words, Class C wants to make money, while Class D has no money and is hungry for money. In contrast to the third issue, the fourth issue was not discussed for too long. But then, the last topic will be displayed. Please prepare to vote, Mr. Majima informed. At the same time, he adjusted his breathing while operating the display screen. And this being noticed. In other words, the threatening fifth question is here. In this way, the last topic is displayed. Topic: if you name a classmate to drop out of school, you will receive a 500-point class evaluation score. If everyone agrees, then students who want to drop out need to be designated and voted on. Options for and against. The last question has the fewest options among the questions so far, with only 2 options. At first glance, one would often assume that the smaller the number of options, the easier it would be to consolidate opinions. But in reality, the number of options doesn't have much impact. But the questions alone are very stressful. Because the assessment is based on the value of a classmate and the 500-point class evaluation score. If a student is exempted from the penalty of dropping out of school, the penalty is 20 million private points. Not to mention that it is difficult to collect them all. The class evaluation score of 500 points is calculated based on a class of about 40 students. That's equivalent to 2 million points a month, and it will continue until graduation, so it's close to 40 million points. And after obtaining the class evaluation score, he can still maintain his status in the class. So, this exam question is very grueling. The 1-minute timer for the exam has started. Then let's announce the results now, Teacher Mashima said. The results of this time's options appeared on the display screen that acted as a blackboard. The result of expelling a student from school and getting a 500-point class evaluation score. Select 0 votes in favor. 41 votes were cast against it. Teacher Mashima. I was worried about this class before, but now it's no longer necessary. Because the exam was unanimously unanimous, congratulations on your successful passing of this exam, Mr. Majima announced. This time the exam is over. And the result received by Class A is. Class B will be chosen as the opponent in the final exam. At the same time, if it is a school trip, then go to Hokkaido. Then, the accounts of the top 5 students in the most recent written test will not have points credited to them for 6 months. At the same time, no one dropped out. Although 500 points is very cool, the students in Class A are also very realistic. Because the previous class voted to drop out of the exam, it was already announced that a student would be dropped out. Everyone has experience. Know how to do it? Katsuragi-san breathed a sigh of relief after seeing this result. Because in the last class vote to drop out of the exam, his follower Tatsuka Yahiko was dropped out of school. But Oreki-san at that time had good reasons. Dropping a student out of school for the sake of class needs maximizes interests. But he didn't treat Yahiko completely wrong and kept his personal points for him. Because of his excellent academic ability, Yahiko still has a bright future. And now, there were actually students who wanted to vote out of school. Undoubtedly, once this is done, the students in the class will be shaken. Only. Without any discussion, the whole class unanimously chose to drop out, which is reassuring enough. And this is the consciousness of Class A. It seems that the results of this year's Class A exam have come out. Here is the chairman's office. The staff informed the chairman of the results. This year's Class A is really outstanding. But the staff member also said, there's a problem with Class B and Class D. Is it? In other words, Class C also made a choice quickly. Yes. Class C, although Ryuan is in charge, has been corrupted by Shiina-san. Everyone thinks there is no hope of being promoted to Class A, but private points, that is, money, are really worth it. Therefore, if you can take out a sum of money when you graduate, it will be a good future. So, who wants to fall down here? Of course the choice is that no one drops out. Because if you choose to drop out, there is no guarantee that you will be dropped out next time. Just like in the last class vote to drop out of the exam, the ones who dropped out were the boys who opposed Ryuan. So don't make terrible choices even if it's to protect yourself. And Ryuan is good at psychology. Although the teacher said he voted anonymously, there is no guarantee that Ryuan will be held accountable afterwards. And this is the most terrifying thing. Now that everyone has a good future, why do they want to destroy it with their own hands? In this way, Class C is completely tamed here. But there's something wrong with Class B and Class D here. First, here is Class B. The countdown will start for 60 seconds, everyone is ready to start voting, Teacher Hashinomi Yachi said. And the students in Class B don't have much time. The 60-second voting period begins immediately. If the whole audience agrees unanimously, students will be hastily selected from this class to drop out. But this kind of thing does not exist in this class. Think so? Then announce the voting results. 1 vote in favor, 39 votes against. The results appear on the display. Result. The students in Class B looked at each other. Because why would anyone choose to exchange a classmate with a 500-point class evaluation score? You know, in the last exam, everyone collected 20 million points and protected this classmate. According to Kanzaki Ryaji, each student is worth 20 million. Then we should be extremely united. As a result, is there anyone now willing to exchange classmates for class evaluation scores? Because the options are inconsistent, there is a temporary intermission. Teacher Hashinomi Yachi's expression began to become solemn. There's nothing we can do about it. Because 39 votes were against and 1 was rejected, that was the result of her class. One person has been voting no. And it makes me sick to think about it. But although Teacher Hashinomi Yachi's expression had changed, her classmates had no time to think about it. Because why would anyone choose to drop out of our class? Although classmate Chihiro Shiranami was very timid, at this time, she tried hard to express her opinion. Because of the previous class vote to drop out of the exam, everyone gathered 20 million points to skip this exam. But as someone who has a good relationship with Ichinose, she knew that Ichinose had paid 10 million alone and wanted to keep everyone. Result. Are any classmates actually going to betray this? And this idea, the thought of dropping out classmates in exchange for points, is too much. This vote. Ichinose Hanami probably didn't expect that anyone would agree to exchange points for his classmates. Although this time the score is as high as 500 points. But we are still too far away from Class A, Ichinose said. So I don't recommend expelling students from school. And if the student who voted against it must be expelled, Ichinose said, I'm willing to drop out of school.